Hey guys, today's episode is intentionally different. We just want to take a minute, slow down. We're not teaching any protocols. We're not breaking down research or going through any big philosophical contemplations, no headlines or anything like that. We want to really just talk about something simpler and maybe deeper on more of an emotional level, or what am I trying to say? Looking back. Yeah.
Today we're going to talk about feelings.
From a heartfelt perspective, is that chiropractic's been a big part of our lives for a very long time. You guys obviously know that because we talk about it every week. But as patients ourselves, and then as practitioners, and now people responsible for growing a clinic and team and really trying to help chiropractic really put its flag in the ground, specifically in Cincinnati. And we want to know that what we did was worthwhile and we made a big impact and that people's lives were changed. But when we look back and we really looked at why we chose this path and what that really meant for us over the years, there's a collection of things that I called it our favorite things episode. Was it Fraulein Maria? Sang the song about a list of her favorite things, or I think of the 12 Days of Christmas, or whatever that ideas of the things that we're looking at of if I go to look back, what are the things that we really appreciate?
And listen, if you're already under care, there's going to be some of these things that are just going to resonate. It's going to hit a chord and you're going to be like, yes, that is exactly how I feel. That's exactly what I think about when I think about my favorite things for chiropractic. And if you've never been adjusted, if you've never been under chiropractic care, this is just a little bit of a window into exactly what it looks like, exactly what we love, why it feels different, why it's not just clinical, but it's also that's something that's really cultural for us, and it's something that's really deeply personal, and something that's really changed our lives, and it's been amazing. And then this is also just talking about why chiropractic is a meaningful part of our life. These are the things that we just want to share and want you to know.
Yeah. So I think if I were really to go right out of the gate, what got me into chiropractic, or one of my favorite things about chiropractic was long before I ever practiced it. I was a patient in a chiropractic office, and I had a really, really great chiropractor. He actually became my mentor. I already started getting teary-eyed in the introduction, so I'm going to probably get more teary-eyed, but just an awesome person. As a patient, he actually inspired me on so many levels, and he made me think about my health, not as a patient reduced to symptoms, but I felt empowered, and I wasn't just chasing the relief of symptoms or pain or whatever. I had ear infections. I had tonsil issues. I'd already been under surgery. I hated surgery. I remember, this is a funny story. I remember my brother and I went in for ear surgery on the same day all 3 times. My brother and I went in to have our tonsils and our adenoids removed on the same day at the same time. And we were laying in beds next to each other with gas masks on, right? Getting put under. And I remember thinking, I'm not going to breathe this. I had an innate response to it where it's I'm not breathing this in. And so I was pretty good at swimming in a pool from one end to the other and back with holding my breath. And I was I know I can hold my breath for about a minute or more. I'm going to hold my breath as long as possible. And I remember when she put the mask on me, she was it's only going to be a minute. And I was oh, I can hold my breath for a minute. And I didn't, as a kid, I didn't realize that meant I had to endure surgery with pain. But I remember holding my breath. And I was holding it. And I remember they checked on my brother, and they like took the mask off, and they were touching him and talking to him, and he didn't respond. And they started wheeling him away. And I remember going, and like breathing that gas in as fast as possible. Because I was like, oh no, they're about to take me away and do surgery, and he's sleeping and I'm not. It was terrifying. I hated it. Yeah. And I remember chiropractic was so different. There was a sense of respect for my body that he told me that my body wasn't broken, that I wasn't healing well, and that the power was already inside, and that when I got adjusted, it was going to release pressure off the nervous system, and my body was going to be able to heal again. And it was like just so inspiring, and I just really love. I think it's my favorite thing about chiropractic. Are we going to cry the whole episode? Because I'm already doing it. But that alone changed how I thought about health, literally for the rest of my life, and it shifted me out of this fear and reaction mode. And I'll tell one more story that I'm going to cry. I don't remember.
I just can see like a little kid, like telling a little kid that. Like, yes.
I don't remember ever going to a swimming pool ever before age 8 and not having wax crammed in my ears. I remember like you had to roll it up a certain way so that, like, you could kind of get it way back in there, and then you had to smash it, make it fit all the little nooks and crannies. And I remember thinking, like, this is ridiculous. We're at a swimming pool. This is supposed to be fun. First of all, I feel like someone's like poking me with something like way back near my eardrum, and then smashing all this earwax. And then imagine trying to play Marco Polo when you can't even freaking hear your friends. And then the worst part was, like, I'd be swimming, we'd be playing Marco Polo, and I'm hearing, it's like literally. And then when you're under the water, it's way even worse. You can't hear fish out of water or anything.
Oh my gosh.
And then when the wax would kind of peel away from my ear, I remember feeling water coming in and freaking out because I knew it meant several days of ear infections. And I just remember, like, running to my mom and being like, oh my God. And, like, being the kid that was kind of, like, panicked. I see this with kids, like, with allergies, like, they have peanuts, or whatever it was. And I just remember being that kid with water in my ears. And so chiropractic just gave me a different life.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Why don't we keep tissues in here? Like, we don't have any tissues. I didn't realize that this is what we were doing right off the bat. Holy smokes.
My patients know I cry.
Yeah.
Like, if you guys may not know that, but my patients know that this is a real thing.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so here's for me, chiropractic. One of the most significant things for me was consistency, living consistently without fear. And
your lightning bolts.
Yes. And like when I talk about this, you guys have heard me talk about like lightning bolts in an analogy of like how I thought of health, like what I saw health was, how I thought of it.
I always picture like a cartoon character, just like, you know, Wile E. Coyote always had like an anvil dropped on his head. I picture like a cartoon character just like, and like he's like jumping, trying to miss lightning bolts.
Yes, yeah. And what's interesting is that, like, for me, chiropractic, it was the first introduction of the idea that healthcare, like taking care of yourself, taking care of your body, was not crisis driven. Right? That it could be something that it wasn't necessarily dramatic. Yeah. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, like I'm just avoiding it until it gets so bad that now I'm like in a really bad spot and I'm with like specialists and I'm in a hospital and I'm like doing all these, you know, like something terrible has happened. Like it's the idea that something doesn't have to go wrong to take care of your body.
Yeah.
That was what chiropractic, that was like the first introduction to me. And like, I think that what's interesting is that we live in a day and age where people talk about self-care more. I don't think I ever heard the term self-care before in my life, but before, you know, recent nomenclature, right? Yeah. Like that people say now, but the idea that like, if you wanted to be healthy, really all I ever understood was that like, you just worked out.
Ate your 10 almonds, drank your carrot juice.
Drink my carrot juice, ate my 10 almonds. But then when I went to school and I wasn't, you know, somebody wasn't making me carrot juice every single morning, it was just like, okay, so what do you do to be healthy? And it was essentially just, oh my gosh, I just go, like you just go to the gym and work out. And then everything else is like, who knows what's going to happen to me? Like maybe I'm going to get old and I'm going to get way too overweight, or maybe I'm going to get old and I'm going to get cancer, or maybe I'm going to get old and I'm going to get some like weird disease, and hopefully I can avoid it. Hopefully I dodge and weave it. And I'm just one of those old people that like lives a healthy life, but that's going to happen by chance. Like,
I know it's changed for you multiple times, but you tell that story about your first adjustment when you had that rib pain ever since your car accident. It was from your car accident, right? Or was it from volleyball?
No, it was from my car accident.
Car accident. And you'd had that rib pain. And I know like rib pain can be like, I don't want to say debilitating, although it is in a way. Like you can't breathe, you can't take a full breath. That was your explanation was I couldn't even take a full breath from 16 to how old were you when we met? 22. And I remember you talking about getting adjusted for the first time, and you're like, no way. Yeah. Like what? Like like what? Yeah. I've lived. And so what did you, like, well, because I think this plays into what you're saying. What did you feel in that moment that kind of wrecked a paradigm? Or what is it you appreciate, or now you appreciate that you realize in that moment?
I think it was the first time that I ever realized that, I think there's a few things that went into it. It was the first time I ever realized that going to a traditional healthcare provider wasn't like going to God and asking for healing. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but like you think that somebody's all knowing, that's essentially the definition of a deity, right? Like, like if you believe that somebody knows everything and you just got to go to them for the answer, and then they're going to give it to you, and then you're going to walk away and it's going to be better. Like, that was the first time that there was ever something that cracked open for me. And I was like, oh my gosh, these are just people and they're trying to figure this out, and this system's flawed and they don't understand everything. Right. Like that cracked open for me. And then, but then the other part of it was like, just this idea that you're like building something over time, right? That like chiropractic is, that was the thing that, and we've talked about this before, that the lesson that I learned at the end of that, when I went in and got chiropractic care, and I just wanted to take a full breath, and I did after my first adjustment. And that could have been it. It could have been over. It could have been the end of it. We could have just said, okay, like now you can take your breath. Your rib problem's gone. Check the rib box, and like I'll see you later. But in staying under chiropractic care over the next 5 years, the things that changed in my body were wild. I mean, I can sleep through alarms. Like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, like the way that I could sleep then, like really was remarkable. And then my eyesight, I've always had very horrible eyesight, and my eyesight, measurably improved. And
eye doctor was like I don't retested your vision a couple of times, was like, your prescription was way wrong. You're like, no, like my prescription has steadily been this or gotten worse over years. Right. And it was like, well, something's changed. I remember that. Right. And I remember you calling me and be like, is it possible that getting adjusted would affect my eyesight? Right. And it's like those patients that come in and they came in for one thing and then something else gets better. And sleep is probably the thing that comes top of mind the most. Is it a patient? Allergies. It happens every year. What happens is they're under care for like 6 months or a year. And they come back the first allergy season, and it typically takes time. Yeah. So if they come in, say, in the fall, and then spring rolls around and they're like, this is weird, and it might just be by chance, but I am having next to no allergy issues this season. I'm like, really? So, just coincidence? And they're like, I don't know. Could it be chiropractic? I'm like, how long have you had allergy issues for? 20 years. Every year? Yep, every year. Horrible. This year? Almost nothing. What else have you changed? Nothing. Yeah, it's probably just coincidence. It's probably coincidence. It probably has nothing to do with it. Yeah, that was my phone call. Does this have anything to do with it? My eyes just got better for the first time ever in my entire life. Like, is it possible that I just corrected multiple points off my prescription? Must be luck. Like, no, it must be total luck. And what's funny is that, like, I think about that now, and I think about, like, and I hate to even have it say it in this visualization because generally speaking, like, I have probably too much confidence. Like, I think that I can do a rational amount of things, right? Like, that's what I believe I can do. Superpower. Yeah, it's a little bit of a superpower, but it's a little bit of a double-edged sword too, right? Yeah, vice and virtue. Yeah, vice and virtue on that one. But when I think about those times, I do think that when I like imagine health, and when you're young, it's weird because you just feel invincible and you just feel like I can do anything and bring it on, and like I'm gonna be fine and like whatever. That's right. But when I thought about the future, there was a lot of assumptions that I made that like health just deteriorates and you just everything just kind of goes to crap in a handbag, right? But I also kind of felt just like scared by the whole thing. Like there was an intimidation factor and an anxiety around health that I had because I didn't understand it and because I thought it was just time and chance. Yeah, I remember when I met you, your mom was dealing with a diagnosis. Right, a breast cancer. It was like scare. Yes, and they were scared, and I literally thought disease was time and chance. I just thought that it was like. And she's doing great, by the way. Yeah, she's doing wonderful, by the way. Yep. Yes, yeah, and I thought that it was just like, can I hide from this or can I avoid it? And other than that, I'm just scared of it. Like that's what I thought. And I can say it's like no radiation, no chemo, no. Yeah. She had none of that. She had no radiation. She had no chemo. She changed her diet. She changed her health. She started getting adjusted. Surgery?
She had one minor surgery.
Yeah. Minor surgery.
Yep. But everything, my mindset, the anxiety, the health anxiety that I had reduced, and my mindset changed, and it got replaced with this idea of confidence and trust in my own body. And like, don't hear me when I say this. That is not linear. Like there have been times in my life where like I had a baby and I hemorrhaged after giving birth, and I was like, oh my God, my body's not doing what it's supposed to do, and like what's going on, and why is it broken, and like what's going on, and we had to have like another come to Jesus. It's like your body's not broken.
We've had to train and flex that confidence over time.
Yes. It's like a muscle, right? That works out. But is it like that was the first opening of it, and that was my favorite thing, my favorite gift that chiropractic has ever given me. Is just this replacement of anxiety and this gift of confidence and trust.
It's good.
My body is doing it. My body's working. And there's that relationship. Like, I mean, I don't want to say not to get spiritual, because to get spiritual about it is that also builds that relationship that I have with God that says that this is how he built me. And I have this trust here and I have this trust here. And and chiropractic has also given me that gift to develop that relationship multi-layered, right?
It's good. Yeah. I love that.
No tears.
No, I have. They're there. They're not seeping down, but they're there. This all gets me, man. I had one happen this week, and according to what we planned, I'm supposed to say that not everything's measurable on a chart. And one of my favorite things is how there are changes that happen that aren't necessarily measurable. I'm going to give you an example of that. This week I was adjusting a patient who I hadn't had the opportunity to adjust yet because she started care a couple weeks ago, and we have 4 doctors in our office, so she was getting adjusted by other doctors. And I happened to walk up to her for her adjustment, and I noticed, I just noticed that I hadn't adjusted her yet, and I said that to her. I said, "Hey, it's Dr. Ryan. I haven't adjusted you yet. Do you okay with I'm going to adjust you today?" She's like, "Oh my gosh, I get you," because the only time she'd ever met me was either through video or at Report of Findings when I taught her initial class on, how to be a great patient in our office. But so I started adjusting her, and she was a pretty tense individual. Like, so they say the issues are in the tissues. You can feel it. If you're a type A person, I know it when I put I can feel it. If you're loosey goosey and you're if you just kind of, you can kind of like,
you're just kind of wonderful and enjoy life.
Yeah. And everything works out for you. And
everything works out.
Or you believe everything's going to work out for you. Like, that's a very different demeanor.
Yeah, that must be a wonderful person.
It is a wonderful person.
So good.
I'd marry one if I met him.
Oh, okay, good.
But this lady was just like very, very tense. And this happened a few times in my career where I could just feel it felt heavy. It felt like it was something deeper. And I adjusted her, and I said, "Boy, we got our work cut out. Like, I just want you to hear this. Part of getting adjusted is receiving an adjustment."
Yeah.
And she goes, "I don't know if I'm going to be good at that." And I said, "Really?" I said, I just feel a lot of resistance." And she goes, "Yeah." And she didn't say a whole lot. And I don't remember exactly what I said or how we got to this, but I said something in the moment. And she said, "Yeah, that's me." She said, "I was abused by my stepfather for years of my life." And she said, "I don't think I've ever gotten over it. And you said the issues are in the tissues, so that's probably what they are." And she, like, no emotion. It was very like stoic.
Yeah.
And I did what I normally do. I finished adjusting her, and I said, "Hey, number one, can I give you a hug? And number two, can I just pray with you about that?" And we prayed, and she had a tiny little tear trying to like come out of her eye. But this woman has dealt with this in her own adaptive way.
Yeah.
And she looked at me and she said, "That's the first time I've ever said that out loud." And I said, "Really?" And I said, and she was starting to talk about, like, "I know I've been studying like holistic stuff, like the throat chakra, and how if you don't say it, like, blah." And I was like, yeah. I was like, "But you were able to like give that thing a voice." And let me show you this, like, your nervous system, you start getting adjusted, like, it's removing interference, and like, you're a different person.
Yeah.
I can't remember if it's like Romans or Corinthians or whatever. It talks about you being a new creation, right? Like a new creation. And I really visualize that every time I'm adjusting someone, I pray that like, I want them to be a new thing after this adjustment, because you are like cells are changing, your body's recreating itself. And, for her to give voice to that. And I've witnessed this happen so many times where somebody gets adjusted and like, they'll just like go into tears.
Yeah.
Or like, there'll be like something. I've had guys do it, believe it or not, big burly men. Like, you can't measure that. I can't show it on an x-ray. I can't show you how that happened because of your cervical curve and your neck and what it should be shaped like. It's just, there's an impactful moment with an adjustment. And then, and I had somebody tell me the other day, well, your words probably, and I was like, she was so subluxated, she wouldn't have heard those words that way until the interference was removed. I think that's where the magic was. She was able to hear things differently, feel things differently, and then ultimately, hopefully, see things differently. So I think, Albert Einstein said there's two ways of looking at life. One's as if nothing's a miracle. I think that's kind of medicine, to be honest with you. Yeah. And then one is as if everything's a miracle. And I think that's kind of the lens that, as a chiropractor, I view things through. I don't know. Yeah. I think that's one of my favorites.
That's so good. Okay, so one of my next favorite things in the office, and I talked to this. Actually, I talk about this in a very first interview. When we interview people to come and start working in our office, I talk about this exact thing. But that moment when their mind gets reconnected to their body, and there's this thing that happens, and you can usually see it in their eyeballs. And for some reason, this connects most deeply to me with I see it in moms so much. I see it in moms that this is we've got like women right now are the most heavily prescribed for antidepressants, antipsychotics. Yes, all of those things. It is just raining down on us. It's like
40% or more of women over 40 are on a drug that comes with harsh warnings that, I mean, honestly, like very suicidal type warnings.
Yes. And it has become like so common. It is so common. I mean, it's an abnormal thing, but it is so common right now. And I will go, we'll go places, even like in the city. I play Cincinnati, or I play tennis around here in Cincinnati, and I'll go around and I'll shake a tennis part, and somebody's hand that we're playing for the first time, or when we finish, and you can like look in somebody's eyes and you can just see that they're disconnected, right? And in our office, like those moments where when you get adjusted, and we talk about that adjustment, when we restore that interference that's happening, and your nervous system is now fully communicating, and we are reconnecting man the spiritual with man the physical. Yeah. Like there is something that happens in your body that you are reconnected, and you can see it happening, and you can see moms that come in that are just not there. Yep. Like they are not. And I don't think it's because they don't want to be, but I can't, I don't know enough to be able to like.
Culture's kind of played around with it a little bit, because like you watch the Real Housewives or whatever. I'm not accusing you of that, but like if somebody did,
guilty.
Like it's like normal conversation, like Xanax and.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like
it's a totally normal thing.
It's like part of the culture. And then there's those shirts that is like, but wine first.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And it's that disconnected, like you're on a drug or you're drunk or whatever. And it might not even be alcohol induced. Right. It can just be disconnected. Right. You could be addicted to your phone, or you could be just not doing, what's the other one of like, there's like a shirt about like not doing people today or something like that. Like, you know what I mean? Adulting.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And you think about it right now, and like, I don't want to listen. This is a long rabbit hole that we can go down, because I think that this is very, I think that this is a very spiritual attack in general. Like, and I think women are not the only ones that are being spiritually attacked in this way, but I have a heart for this because I see it. Like, I can see it like really, really clearly. And when you disconnected things die. Right? Like when you disconnect it, and there's something very spiritual about like growing on the vine and like remaining, right?
Yeah.
And like, and being able to like
being connected to your husband, being connected to your God, being connected to your kids, being connected to other people, your neighbors, your like disconnected things die. Really watch when you remove yourself from a relationship with somebody, like it falls apart.
Right. And whatever
but it's
happened,
a connection. So how did chiropractic
and back in the day, they used to do those like frontal lobotomies. Right, like
they would literally disconnect your frontal lobe.
They would literally disconnect your frontal lobe, right? And that was a thing. And like I think about a lot of times,
that's how they treated, particularly in women. That's how they treated. You know, if you were depressed or anxious or you know you had hysteria or whatever, that was one of the ways they treated it.
It was one of the ways they treated it. But here's the thing. Here's what's crazy. In my mind, I really believe, but in my heart, I really believe that this is kind of that modern day frontal lobotomy. That these antidepressants and these antipsychotics,
chemical lobotomy.
Yeah. Like I literally can see, like you can see it, and you can see those moments where these people come into the office.
And you're right, because the way your brain's wired and where your eyeballs come back and where the optic nerves come in, where the optic chiasm is, that is exactly where they would they would literally use basically like chopsticks, and they would stick them up people's nose and wiggle them back and forth until they disconnected their brain from, and that was where it was at. It was literally, when you say disconnected and you say like, you know, you can see this, like it's right there. It's at the center of the brain. Yeah,
it's right there. And I really like being able to see that reconnection.
Oh, what I was saying is you being able to see it in their eyes.
Yes, their
eyeballs. The reason you can see it in their eyes because it is tied into the eyes.
Yeah.
When you disconnect their frontal lobe, it is tied in neurologically to the eyes.
Right. And you see, and you have a mom that comes in and you see that fire come back in her eyes and you see that passion that like comes back, and she's like, she's here, she's in it, she's with it. She's like, now she's like living life at 100%. And now whatever God put her here on earth to do, right? Like she's there all the way. Like she's not like kind of like, oh, I got my to-do list today and I'm going to like get stuff done. And wow, these kids are wild. And like, I'm so overwhelmed and you know what I'm saying? And like now she's in it. Like she is here, like she is there. And I'm not saying that every single person has to be like, I think there's, you know, this is a different discussion, but I think there's an unrealistic expectation of like full-time job, full-time mom, full-time house, full-time everything. Like we got to be all these things, all these places. Like just being exactly where you are and doing the best job you can do in the place that you're at, wherever God put you. I think it's an amazing thing. And that is my favorite. One of my very favorite things about chiropractic is just letting people live to their God-given potential.
And you feel like you see when they're getting adjusted, you see that shift.
Yes, and it's such a privilege and it's such a gift, and I never get tired of it. And that's when I say that I talk about this in my very first interview with people in the office. I talk about how we get the gift of witnessing these transformations in people's lives, and I never ever ever get sick of it. It's been 15, 16 years now that we've been watching it. We've been right here watching it happen, watching people go through it, watching people do it, and it is such a gift, and it never gets old. Ever.
Yeah, I started practicing in Michigan end of 2006, going into 2007. We're coming up on 20.
I mean, there you go.
20.
There you go.
20 years. Here's a good one. One of the things I love is the energy and atmosphere in a office like ours. I love the energy. I love the atmosphere. And I said this week. This is funny because so we play whatever we want. It's our office. So we play like worship music a lot of times because we're in charge. Can't tell me what to do. But we play worship music sometimes because that's just who we are. Yeah, we listen to Forrest Frank in the office because we listen to Forrest Frank at home or in the car. Right, we listen to worship music in the office because we listen to worship music at home in the car. Sometimes we listen to Led Zeppelin in the office because I listen to Led Zeppelin at work or in the car, depending on the day. Right. We used to have Reggae Fridays and do whatever. But the atmosphere is one, it's fun, it's engaging. You walk in, it's never cold, it's not sterile. It's big. The office is big. Yeah. It's busy. It used to be small and busy. We don't like busy. We call it active. It's active because we think busy, like everyone's busy. It's like, I'd like to, but I'm busy. Like, everyone's busy. Who cares? Like it's active. We're active. Active's fun. Active is exciting. Active has purpose. Busy sounds like it's weighing you down. Forget busy. We hate busy. Yeah. The office is fun. And so even that, somebody was like, I'm sick. I'm like, no, you're not. You're having a great immune response. You're fighting something off. You're learning how to flex your immune system. Like just that whole idea. Dr. Matt on Fridays listens to Metallica on his way to work. Because we open up at 6 a.m. Cup of coffee, cranks Metallica, and he comes in, he's like excited, fired up. I listen to Biggie Smalls. I listen to Notorious B.I.G. on Fridays because I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like Fridays are a little gangster. Everybody's ready for the weekend. And but then we get worship music on as we go into shift.
It's all about balance.
But it's the energy that that I really love, and it's the energy in my team. My team feels excited. Patients feel supported. They don't feel rushed. The movement in the office, everybody's moving. We don't have a waiting room. We have an active area where patients warm up before their adjustments. You're not waiting. What are you waiting for? Yep. Nobody's waiting. Get ready for your adjustment. Families coming in together. Today there was a kid making all kinds of noises, and we had an intern, or not even an intern. He's going to go to a chiropractic college, and he was like, "Is that a pterodactyl?" And I just started laughing because that's what I used to say when I heard kids like squawking. Yeah. And I was like, dude, I love that. I love hearing babies crying in the office. I love hearing like whatever it is, but it just feels alive. And that energy really enforces what we teach, is that we're after life. We're after vitality. I want more of that. Yeah. I remember when we built this office out, brand new paint, brand new walls, brand new everything. And I remember like grabbing the magic eraser and trying to get all the little kids' footprints off because they were grabbing the front desk and pulling themselves up and kicking the wall underneath. And there's all these little tiny shoe prints. And I'm like, who are these kids' parents that aren't telling them not to hang it? And I remember my buddy, Mark Wolfman, going, dude, that's a sign of a high volume family practice. Like that's the thing you dreamed of when you graduated, is little kids' hands and footprints everywhere. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's such a great perspective. Yeah. And it's that, and that the appreciation that's grown from that. And just what our office really is all about. It's about families. It's about life. It's about vitality. I want to see more footprints because that means they're moving more. It means they have more life. I want to see more footprints because that means Micah had another kid. I want to see, like, I want more of that. And so when we talk to our patients about like growing our practice, it's not about getting busier. It's not about having a bigger practice. It's about, I want more. I want more health. I want more kids. I want more families. I want more changes. I want more impact. I want to see more people healing. I want to see more family members coming in. I want to see more of our patients reaching out to other people. And just, I don't know how to put words to it, but just that energy to me. We had a guy come in last week. This is the exact opposite. He came in, and this is on the coattails of we had somebody come in and say, the environment was amazing. They were playing Christian music. We have a huge 6 foot by 4 foot painting of Jesus, like blah, blah, blah. And he left this like review, and it was just like beautiful. And then the very next day, this guy comes in and he's like at the desk checking out. And he's like, I didn't appreciate the picture of Jesus. I didn't appreciate the worship music. And the doctor mentioned God in the exam room, and not in like like he just said, God put the most amazing healing power in your body. And he sat through my report of findings 2 days later, and I'm 20 years in practice. So my give a crap button.
You're like an 80-year-old guy walking around just like, you're going to hear.
My give a crap button got broken a couple of years ago at some point. And I was like, hey, I don't know who you are. I just heard you're in this room. There's 9 of you or 8 of you in this room. And I heard that someone didn't like my painting of Jesus and the worship music. And I just want you to know, after everything you just heard and knowing my heart, if you want to be a patient here, it's great. If you don't like my painting and you don't like the music, you have 2 options. Number 1, the front door is right over there. And number 2 is you can just quiet down and get adjusted and be here for 15 minutes. But I have to be here all day, and I have to love my environment. And my staff has to love my environment. And the other 699 patients we're going to see this week have to like our environment. Yeah. And maybe you'll change your tune. And you know what's funny? His tune changed pretty quickly. Yeah. And I like also that me and my team get to be authentic in our environment. So that's something I love about practicing chiropractic in our office.
That's so good. I would say that my next favorite thing about chiropractic is like coming off of that example that I gave last time where that person changes, where we see that fire come out back in their eye. We see that connection between, their brain and their body, and they're all the way back in, and their lives changing and things are happening. And then my favorite thing is when that person doesn't take that and like put it in their own coat pocket or put it in their own purse and just like walk away and like keep it to themselves. Like my
Under
favorite
a bushel.
Yes, right. My favorite thing is that ripple effect that happens, right? That ripple that happens through a family. That ripple that like now we're old enough, right? After all these years in practice, we're old enough to see like we see these patients that have kids and then their kids get older, right? And we have that too, where like we brought our son to the orthodontist today and he was like, oh my gosh, like you were just pregnant with him, like right next door. And like, and
we used to practice next door.
Yeah, right. We used to practice next to him and he was like, and now he's sitting here and I'm about to put appliances like in his mouth. And so it's like that ripple effect through your family, that your kids' lives have changed.
Well, and even that word picture of a ripple, when you throw one rock, right? One rock into the water and it creates one ring.
Yep.
And then if you wait, there's 20 rings.
Right.
And we've noticed that like sometimes a patient will refer one person.
Yep.
And that patient might refer one or two more people. But what's weird is at some point there are patients, I was talking about this today, there are patients that refer in 20, some people just have it, you know what I mean? Yeah, like they talk about something and people just go do it. One lady in particular I'm thinking of, LaToya, she could tell somebody about her hairdresser and all of her friends are going to go to that hairdresser. Yeah. She tells somebody about us, they're all coming to see us. And like, I remember LaToya is easily referred in 30 people.
Yeah.
And so, but what if you referred in LaToya?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you might only refer in one person,
yep.
But to what BJ Palmer said, you never know how far reaching something you may do, say, or think today might influence the lives of millions. And you may never actually get the satisfaction of that, but we see it.
Right. And you get to see those lives changing. I mean, I have one of my best friends, I gave her a baby book. I gave her my favorite. If I've been to your baby shower, you've gotten this baby book from me, right? And it's this book about, like nutrition, super nutrition for babies, like what happens when they start eating and what's the best nutrition. And it's sort of a mix of Weston A. Price and, a few different ways that to really start your baby on nutrition. And that for her, I mean, it's been 12 years of like life-changing experience now. And her daughter eats a totally different way and their family eats a totally different way, because once your kids get to a certain age, like you're not eating different than your kid. Like you're not making yourself junk food and making your kid like a nice healthy piece of salmon with some broccoli and then you're just going to go eat a cheeseburger, right? Like your whole life changed. And so seeing that ripple effect, seeing chiropractic care change somebody's life and then change their kid's life and then change their other kid's life and then change their brother and sister's life and their grandparents' life and their coach's life. And then all of a sudden, like you're going someplace and your kid's going over to somebody's house and they're like, oh yeah, we don't have any red dye in our house. And yeah, we have organic food in our house. And it's like, oh my gosh, well, thank God that you have learned that and your life changed and that ripple happened and it came over you and it just keeps going and going. And that is just one of my favorite things.
One of my next favorite things is that my team actually lives out this chiropractic lifestyle philosophy. Not always at first. So I remember we had a guy that was a massage therapist in our office, and he was like, they're out there talking about organic this and whatever. And he's like, dude, he actually used to work at McDonald's, and he was like, I love a cheeseburger, whatever. Fast forward a year later, he lost over 100 pounds, became he was an employee in my office plus an employee in our gym. He became one of our trainers. We actually helped him open a gym. He ended up becoming a physical therapist assistant. Like it changed his whole life. Yeah. But it was the buy-in of like, he just saw it. He saw it happening with the patients. Currently McKenna on our team right now, she frequently will, whether it's friends, family members, patients, whatever, she'll say things and I'm like, wow, that sounds like but she's bold. Yeah. And I just love the buy-in. All of our teams, their families get adjusted, all of them. Their kids get adjusted. And I just love seeing that. It's they don't just work here, they actually live it out. And they experience that benefit personally, they experience it, but it makes their care and their communication with our patients truly authentic, right? I think I could go anywhere and work anywhere, and I think I could probably hold any job. But like, if you put me in something that I didn't believe in, it would be challenging. I mean, I think I could probably sell tires or whatever, but like when you really truly believe in something and when you experience it, even if you don't experience it yourself at first, like right now, I think we probably have one or two staff members that are earlier on in their health journey and they're waiting or hoping to experience something, right? We've had this happen where we've had team members that are like, I want to get pregnant, or, you know, and, but when they see it happening in other of our team members and that passion, it's inspiring. I just really feel like also our patients can feel when our team is truly aligned. And I would say right now, we have that alignment, and that alignment creates a lot of trust. Yeah. And that's one of my favorite things.
I love that. Another one of my favorite things is when patients take ownership of their health. That they are on this, like there's so many times where a patient will come in and they will kind of look at us like, okay, tell me what to do. Okay, what am I doing next? All right, where do I go now? What do I do now? You know, and it's sort of that very traditional model of like, you're in charge, you tell me, and I just go do, right? And there's these times where, and I think times are changing these days, right? Like this is, 15 years ago, it was much more prevalent for you just to walk into your doctor's office and just be like, okay, I do whatever you say. And like, I'm not really, thinking this through, but these patients that come in and they're more curious, they're more aware, they're more confident in the health choices that they're making, right? You have a patient who comes in and they're confident in the idea that maybe their doctor was like, I don't know about chiropractic care. I don't think that that's the right thing to do. And they're like, okay, that's fine. That can be your opinion, but I have a different opinion and this is what I'm doing, right? These people that are grabbing a hold of life and they're confidently moving that direction, and they're not viewing health as like something that happens to them. They're viewing it as something that I'm going and I'm taking charge of. That ownership creates momentum. Right? Like it's that snowball that's like rolling downhill that like you just can't stop it. Like once you've decided that, and once you're doing that, and that shifts from something that's just really passive to something that you're engaged with on a daily basis. And I think it's just what more can you ask for?
Yep. Man, I got so many more, but I'll finish with this one. I'm going to tie two together here real quick. Perhaps one of the most meaningful things, and one of the favorite things, is meaningful relationships that we build over time. So, here we go. I've been practicing for almost 20 years, and today I adjusted Russ, and I've taken care of Russ's kids now since they were preteen, and now I adjust two of Russ's grandkids. And so when he was telling me about getting together with his kids and his grandkids, these are all people that I know, have taken care of for years and love. I haven't seen his son since he went away to college years ago, but still know him by first name. I'm like, tell Thomas, Dr. Ryan said hi. I miss him. And it was just, and the meaningful relationships that we really build and how much we get to know our patients. Community is so rare. I remember being accused of being a cult. Our office being a cult. And the word cult, the root word, or the word cult, is the root word of culture. And so at a certain point, I was like, hell yeah, we're a cult. Because we're building a culture, and we're building a culture of wellness. We're building a culture of this. We want to build a culture of relationship. Part of the reason that I get to take care of somebody's grandchildren when I was taking care of them and their children, or now I'm taking care of, there are kids that were little kids in my office that now I'm taking care of their kids. Yeah. And the only reason we get to do that is because we created a culture. And so it's the long-lasting relationships, but the culture we've built. And a guy walked in today, and we were a patient, and he said, man, it was busy. It was active. It was active in the office today, really active. It's right before the holidays. People want to feel good. It was active. And this guy was a brand new patient. He's like, everyone's drinking the Kool-Aid around here. And I was like, nobody's drinking Kool-Aid around here. There's too much crap in it. I was like, but yeah, man, they're part of the culture. They're bought in. And he said, well, I got red pills. I was like, we don't take pills. We take some supplements, but we don't take pills. Red, blue, green, whatever. But he got it. He saw it. He was like, man, all these people, they're bought in. And I was like, they are bought in. They're bought in. They believe in it, and they've seen it happen, and now they're seeing it happen over generations. So that was part one. Part two is then what happens is the referrals.
Yeah.
And I know from a business aspect, don't get me wrong, like we love referrals.
Sure.
It's probably our biggest compliment you could give us. But what I actually love about it is I can go, oh my gosh, this is crazy. John referred in Jackie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Jackie referred in Joe, who she works with.
Mm-hmm.
And then Joe's wife's now in, and she referred in Cindy over there,
mm-hmm.
who she plays tennis with. And every now and then I'll do this, but I'll walk out to the hot seats in our office where people are warming up, and I'll be like, John, Joe, Jackie, Cindy, come here for a second. I got to tell you guys something. So this is Cindy. Cindy just, and like John's standing there, and he's like, oh, this is kind of weird. Like, I don't know these people. It's like Cindy was referred in by so-and-so, and this person was referred in by so-and-so. And this is John. He's my insurance agent, and he has been here since 2013 or whatever. Yeah. And just so you know, you're here because John was here. Yeah. And going back to that culture, but and your thing about like putting it in your pocket or under a bushel or whatever. Yeah. But when people are part of that culture and then they now go out and become, we used to call them chiropractic warriors, right? Yep. They're these people that go out and they start like, they're building the culture bigger. And so I remember when it was just me and it was exhausting. Yeah. And I was trying to tell everyone I knew about chiropractic. Yeah. And now we have like people that go out there and just tell people about chiropractic. And so that's one of my favorite things when people start talking about chiropractic the way that I remember when I found out about it. I was talking, and before I was even a chiropractor, I wouldn't shut up about it. So I love that.
I love it. If chiropractic, listen, if it's one of your favorite things too, it's not on accident. Right? Like there was something in there that happened, and some of these stories are going to, like some of them resonate and some of them might hit you if you've not been under chiropractic care, if you haven't been around in a long time, whatever it is, it might hit you and you might be thinking, oh my gosh, I want that. Like I need that for myself, and that's fine. Like we would love for you to have it. Yeah. Really.
We would also share this up. Maybe not this one. Maybe this one, I don't know, share whatever. Share our episodes, share them with your friends. One of the time, people ask me all the time, they're like, I'm talking to my friends, and they just say, send them an episode. It's pretty easy. Like open up the app, click the button to share and send it and say, hey, this is my chiropractor and his wife, and they talk about this stuff. Just so you know, like if you do watch this episode, I don't cry in my office every day. But when I talk about this type of stuff, it gets me. Every now and then in my office, it gets me, but it's what we're truly passionate about, and it's authentic. And so we just ask if there are people you want to share chiropractic and give them the gift of potential health, share this stuff with them, because we love taking care of you, and we'd love to take care of them as well.